The world is filled with places that stir the heart and ignite the imagination. Whether it's natural beauty or rich history, some destinations leave you changed. If you're ready to travel deeper, these spots belong on your radar. How can an island made entirely of sand support lush rainforests and crystal-clear lakes? Fraser Island, Australia, known as K'gari to its indigenous Butchulla people, is the largest sand island in the world, stretching over 120 kilometers off the coast of Queensland. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site where nature constantly defies expectations. Drive along 75 Mile Beach, a wild ocean highway dotted with shipwrecks and colored sand cliffs. Inland, you'll find freshwater gems like Lake Mackenzie, so clear and pure it seems unreal. Rainforests grow from sand dunes, sustained by ancient fungal systems and pure aquifers. Dingoes roam free, and you might spot whales breaching just offshore. Fraser Island is steeped in Aboriginal legend. K'gari means paradise, and it truly lives up to the name. It's a place where ecosystems coexist in impossible harmony, untouched and raw. This island isn't a postcard, it's an ancient miracle written in wind, sand, and water. You won't believe these homes are real, or that people still live in them. Alberobello, Italy, lies in the heel of the Italian boot, the Apulia region, a sun-drenched land of olive groves and Adriatic breezes. It's famed for one peculiar architectural wonder, the Trulli. These whitewashed stone huts with conical roofs look like they were built by fairies or ancient mystics. But they're very real and date back to the 14th century. Originally crafted without mortar, so they could be dismantled quickly under feudal tax laws. The Trulli Zone is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, with streets lined by these fantastical dwellings. Some have been turned into cafes, shops, or boutique stays, allowing visitors to sleep inside what feels like a hobbit house. Locals preserve ancient traditions here, including hand-rolled orecchietta pasta and colorful religious festivals. Alberobello isn't just a quirky town. It's a glimpse into the resilience and creativity of southern Italy's rural soul. Svaneti, Georgia. Hidden deep in the Caucasus Mountains, Svaneti is one of the most remote and magical regions in Europe. Located in the northwest corner of Georgia, this ancient land is guarded by rugged peaks and steep valleys, home to some of the continent's highest inhabited villages. Time seems to have stopped here. Stone defense towers rise beside rustic homes, keeping the echoes of the medieval past alive. Mestia, the region's cultural hub, greets visitors with winding streets and panoramic alpine views. But it's Ushguli, perched under the mighty Mount Shkara, that truly stuns. Cobbled lanes and fortified dwellings create a living museum where history breathes in every corner. Hikers flock to the area for treks like the iconic Mestia-Ushguli route, which winds past alpine meadows, glacial streams, and the thunderous Shdugra waterfall. Svaneti's culture is equally rich. The Svans, a distinct ethnic group, have preserved their language and age-old customs for generations. Their haunting polyphonic chants, recognized by UNESCO, echo through valleys as if calling the mountains themselves. Despite its remoteness, Svaneti offers a warm welcome, a journey not just through nature, but through centuries of unbroken tradition. What if the Arabian Nights were real, and you could walk through their golden canyons and ancient souks? Oman, on the southeastern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, is a land where sand meets sea and legend meets reality. Unlike its glitzier neighbors, Oman preserves its heritage. From crumbling forts to timeless villages nestled in date palm oases. The Wahiba sands stretch endlessly, their dunes glowing at sunset like liquid gold. In the north, Wadi Shab offers a fairy tale hike through turquoise pools and hidden caves. Muscat, the capital, combines ornate mosques, cliffside roads, and the scent of frankincense markets that haven't changed in centuries. Oman is deeply tied to maritime history. Ancient dhow boats still sail its coastlines, echoing its seafaring past. Did you know? The frankincense trees of Dhofar were once more valuable than gold. In Oman, mystery and serenity walk hand in hand, inviting travelers to experience the soul of the desert. Have you ever walked through a place where the past feels more vivid than the present? Welcome to Fez, Morocco, the beating heart of ancient North Africa. Fez, Morocco is nestled in the northeastern region of the country, surrounded by the Middle Atlas Mountains. It's one of the oldest cities in the Arab world, often called the cultural capital of Morocco. The city is divided into three parts, with Fes El Bali, the walled Medina, being the most iconic. The Fez Medina is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a labyrinth of over 9,000 alleys. Among its many marvels is the Al-Qarawiyyin University, founded in 859 and considered the world's oldest existing university. The Bu Inania Madrasa and the Nejarine Fountain are architectural gems that reveal the rich Islamic artistry of the region. Fez is a place where ancient traditions still shape everyday life. The smell of spices, the vibrant colors of hand-woven textiles, and the echo of hammering copper fill the senses. Its tanneries, with their centuries-old leather dyeing pits, are both a visual and cultural experience. Few places offer such a raw, unfiltered portal to the past. Visiting Fez isn't just a trip, it's time travel. What if a fairy tale forest and a surreal rock kingdom collided? Saxon Switzerland, Germany is a place where nature sculpts cathedrals from stone. Saxon Switzerland, Germany is a breathtaking national park in the eastern part of the country, near the border with the Czech Republic. Despite its name, it's located in Saxony and owes its Switzerland label to the romantic 18th century artists who fell in love with its dramatic sandstone formations. The region's crown jewel is the Baste Bridge, a stone walkway connecting towering pinnacles, offering panoramic views over the Elbe River Valley. Hiking trails wind through labyrinths of cliffs, gorges, and lush forests, leading to hidden caves and ancient fortresses like Königstein. Steeped in folklore and artistic inspiration, Saxon Switzerland has drawn painters, poets, and hikers for generations. It's not just a destination. It's a living canvas where nature and imagination dance in perfect harmony, offering every visitor their own personal fairy tale. What if your next road trip took you past towering cliffs, wild beaches, and rock formations sculpted by time itself? The Great Ocean Road, Australia, is one of the world's most legendary coastal drives. Stretching 243 kilometers along the southeastern edge of Victoria, this route hugs the rugged coastline where the Southern Ocean meets the land with dramatic force. The crown jewel is the 12 Apostles, massive limestone stacks rising from the sea, constantly reshaped by wind and waves. Other must-sees include Loch Ard Gorge, the rainforest of Great Otway National Park, and the surfing town of Torquay, birthplace of brands like Rip Curl and Quicksilver. Built by World War I veterans as a memorial to their fallen comrades, this road is more than scenic. It's a living monument. Drive it at sunset, when the ocean glows orange and the cliffs seem to breathe. And here's a hidden gem. Look for wild koalas lounging in eucalyptus trees near Kennet River. Have you ever seen stone that looks like it's been painted by the sky? The Marble Caves, Chile, are a natural cathedral carved into solid rock, floating on the shimmering turquoise waters of General Carrera Lake in Patagonia. Formed over 6,000 years by waves lapping against calcium carbonate, the result is a labyrinth of marble tunnels, arches, and caverns, unlike anything else on Earth. The colors shift with the seasons and sunlight, sometimes silver and white, other times a swirling blend of blue, green, and gray. The most iconic spot is the Marble Chapel, where reflections make it seem as though the cave is floating. Accessible only by boat or kayak, the journey itself adds to the dreamlike experience. This remote location near the Chilean-Argentinian border is rarely crowded, offering a quiet moment of awe in one of the planet's most untouched corners. There are no signs or fences, just nature in its purest, most poetic form. It's not just a cave. It's a floating marble dreamscape sculpted by water and time. You've seen ruins, but have you ever walked through a stone temple city where trees grow through towers and every wall tells a sacred story? This is Angkor Wat, Cambodia, the largest religious monument on Earth, nestled deep in the jungles of Southeast Asia, near the city of Siem Reap. Originally built in the 12th century as a Hindu temple dedicated to Vishnu, Angkor Wat was later transformed into a Buddhist site and remains spiritually active today. The temple complex is an architectural marvel, with intricate bas-reliefs, towering spires, and a design that mirrors the cosmic universe. Part of the greater Angkor Archaeological Park, the area includes dozens of temples like Bayon, with its smiling stone faces, and Ta Prohm, where ancient roots now entwine the walls. And here's a wonder. Angkor was once the heart of a mega-city larger than any in Europe at the time, with an advanced hydraulic system far ahead of its era. What if the sky didn't just reflect in water, but in salt? Where earth and heavens meet in perfect symmetry. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia, is the world's largest salt flat, covering over 10,000 square kilometers in South America's Altiplano. At certain times of the year, a thin layer of water transforms it into a natural mirror so flawless, it blurs the line between sky and ground. Located over 3,600 meters above sea level, this alien-like landscape is surrounded by volcanoes, flamingo-dotted lagoons, and rocky islands like Isla Incahuasi, covered in giant cacti. It's a photographer's dream, and one of the most surreal places you can stand on Earth. Salar de Uyuni is also a vital source of lithium, powering the world's batteries, but it feels light years from modern life. Here's something unexpected. NASA uses it to calibrate satellites because of its flatness and reflective properties. Standing there, the silence is total, and the beauty, infinite. What if you could stand at the edge of the world, where polar bears roam and the sun doesn't set for months? Welcome to Svalbard, Norway. Svalbard, Norway is a remote Arctic archipelago located between mainland Norway and the North Pole. It's one of the world's northernmost inhabited areas, a land of icy silence and dramatic, untouched wilderness. Glaciers, frozen fjords, and snow-covered peaks dominate the terrain, creating a scene straight from a polar fairy tale. The main settlement, Longyearbyen, offers cozy lodges and museums, but the real draw lies beyond, in the untamed Arctic. Dog sledding, snowmobiling, and glacier hiking are just the beginning. And for the brave, there's the chance to witness the eerie beauty of the polar night or the midnight sun, depending on the season. Svalbard's unique status as a demilitarized zone and visa-free territory gives it a curious international character. It's also home to the Global Seed Vault, humanity's backup of the world's crops, buried deep in permafrost. This is not a place for casual travelers. It's for seekers of silence, raw nature, and a sense of life on the edge of existence. Imagine a city where ancient fortresses overlook wine bars, and every alley whispers stories from empires long gone. That's Tbilisi, Georgia. Tbilisi lies at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, nestled in the shadow of the Caucasus Mountains along the banks of the Kura River. Its geography is dramatic, but it's the cultural fusion that gives this capital its unmistakable soul. Dominated by the Narikala fortress and anchored by the sulfur baths of Abanotubani, Tbilisi is a city of layers. Orthodox cathedrals stand beside Persian-style bathhouses and Soviet-era apartment blocks. Winding old town streets are alive with cafes, galleries, and artisan shops, all set against the backdrop of tiled roofs and hilltop views. With a history shaped by Persians, Byzantines, Mongols, and Russians, the city exudes resilience and warmth. Tbilisi is also a gateway to Georgia's famed wine regions and hearty cuisine, from khinkali dumplings to khachapuri cheese bread. This is a place where hospitality is a sacred art, and every guest is treated like family. Have you ever seen a place where trees look like giant mushrooms, the beaches are empty for miles, and the entire island feels like another planet? That's Socotra, Yemen, often called the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean. Located off the Horn of Africa, this isolated island is one of the most biologically unique spots on Earth. Geographically part of Yemen, but ecologically in a league of its own, Socotra boasts over 700 endemic species. The most famous is the dragonblood tree, with its umbrella canopy and red sap. Hike through the Hagir Mountains or explore the white dunes of Detwa Lagoon, and you'll feel like an interplanetary traveler. Human settlements here date back over 2,000 years, with a blend of Arabic and East African traditions. Despite geopolitical tensions in mainland Yemen, Socotra remains peaceful and surreal. One rare fact, due to its remoteness, many species here evolved in isolation, making it a living relic of prehistoric biodiversity. What if an entire city looked like a spilled palette of watercolor, pinks, blues, and yellows tumbling down a canyon? Guanajuato, Mexico, is a colonial gem in the country's heartland, built into hillsides with tunnels weaving beneath and alleys winding above. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, it enchants with its maze-like structure and bohemian soul. Teatro Juarez, an architectural marvel, stands as a beacon of Guanajuato's artistic identity. With its neoclassical columns and Moorish interior, it hosts international festivals like Cervantino, turning the town into Mexico's cultural capital each autumn. The Callejón del Beso, Alley of the Kiss, is a tiny passageway so narrow that lovers can kiss across balconies. It's wrapped in romantic legend and a must-visit for couples who want their love blessed by tradition. Founded on silver, Guanajuato still bears traces of mining heritage with underground roads and the eerie Museo de las Momias. Its hills offer sweeping views, while mariachi music and student troubadours fill the cobblestone streets with timeless charm. Imagine sipping mulled wine beneath a Gothic clock tower as opera melodies float through medieval courtyards. Lviv, Ukraine, feels like a forgotten European fairy tale, untouched by time. Located in western Ukraine, it's the cultural soul of the country, closer to Krakow in spirit than Kiev, with cobblestones worn smooth by centuries. Rynok Square is the city's historical heart, surrounded by Renaissance-era buildings painted in soft pastels. Climb the Town Hall Tower for a sweeping view of red roofs and golden domes. Each building is a chapter. Austrian, Polish, Soviet, and Ukrainian layers all whispering their stories. Step into the Lviv Theater of Opera and Ballet, a marble-laden masterpiece. Its Baroque facade hides chandeliers, velvet seats, and one of Europe's most majestic domed auditoriums. Don't just photograph it, watch a performance. It's a portal into 19th century elegance. Lviv has more cafes per capita than any other Eastern European city. It's a hub of intellect, rebellion, and creativity. During WWOOD, its universities were battlegrounds of ideology. Today, it's a place where jazz clubs, underground bookstores, and chocolate museums bloom. Fact: Lviv's coffee is brewed from underground fire-roasted beans, a tradition you can witness live in its famed coffee mining manufacture. What if gravity paused and rocks started dancing mid-air? Welcome to Arches National Park. Located in eastern Utah, USA, this surreal desert landscape showcases over 2,000 natural sandstone arches, the highest concentration in the world. Red rock formations curve, twist, and balance impossibly against brilliant blue skies. The park lies on the Colorado Plateau, shaped over millions of years by wind, ice, and erosion. Landmarks like Delicate Arch, a freestanding natural wonder, and Landscape Arch, longer than a football field, defy logic and expectation. Fiery Furnace, Devil's Garden, and Balanced Rock each offer their own alien beauty. Arches holds deep ancestral significance for Native American tribes, including the Ute and Paiute peoples. Petroglyphs remain etched into canyon walls, echoing ancient stories. The region glows at sunrise and sunset, and when night falls, the Milky Way pours across the sky in one of America's clearest stargazing spots. This is not just a national park. It's nature sculpting the impossible and inviting you to walk through time. Where can you climb a mountain and then dance on the beach before sunset? Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, is a city that feels like a celebration in motion. Nestled between dramatic granite peaks and golden beaches, it's a tropical symphony of samba, street art, and spiritual energy. Stand before the towering Christ, the Redeemer, on Corcovado Mountain, arms open to the sprawling city below. Hike to Sugarloaf Mountain for panoramic views, or unwind on Copacabana and Ipanema, where beach culture is a lifestyle, not a pastime. The Tijuca Forest, one of the world's largest urban rainforests, hides waterfalls and wildlife just minutes from downtown. Rio's heart beats strongest during Carnival, when the streets erupt in color, rhythm, and revelry. But even in quieter moments, the spirit of alegria, joy, is everywhere. This city doesn't just welcome you. It grabs your hand and pulls you into the dance. What if a garden could become a city, and a city, a vision of the future? Singapore is that dream made real. This city-state in Southeast Asia rises from the tip of the Malay Peninsula like a sci-fi oasis, where cutting-edge architecture meets tropical serenity. Here, nature isn't just preserved, it's reimagined. The Marina Bay Sands skyline, with its ship-like rooftop, defines modern ambition. Yet, just a walk away, the Supertree Grove of gardens by the bay glows with bioluminescent brilliance. Explore the vivid streets of Little India, or wander into the peaceful courtyards of Chinatown. Once a modest trading port, Singapore is now a cultural melting pot, shaped by Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Western influences. The city is a master of clean order. Chewing gum is famously banned, but also home to world-renowned street food, like the Michelin-starred chicken rice. A global financial hub and a green miracle, Singapore is the city where future and foliage intertwine. What if a town could feel like stepping inside a snow globe, even in summer? Colmar, France, is located in Alsace, near the German border, and blends French elegance with storybook charm. Situated on the Alsatian wine route, it's surrounded by rolling vineyards and framed by the Vosges Mountains. Its historic center looks untouched by time, with half-timbered houses, cobblestone alleys, and flower-filled balconies that overflow with color. The canal-lined quarter known as La Petite Venise is particularly enchanting, where gondola-like boats drift quietly under ancient stone bridges. Colmar has long been a cultural crossroads. German, French, and Swiss influences all meet here, and that mix is felt in everything from the architecture to the sauerkraut-laced cuisine. One of its proudest sons was Auguste Bartholdi, the sculptor of the Statue of Liberty. His childhood home is now a museum. Visiting Colmar feels like entering a painting, a place where every corner seems arranged by an artist's hand. What if you could walk through a town where every house looks like a canvas, painted by a dreamer? Guatapé, Colombia, is a visual explosion nestled in the Andes of Antioquia, just 2 hours from Medellin. Its kaleidoscopic houses, cobblestone streets, and eternal spring weather create a surreal backdrop for every step. Tucked near a man-made reservoir, Guatapé is where art meets water, and tranquility meets color. Climb the 740 steps of El Peñón de Guatapé, a towering monolith piercing the sky. From the summit, a jaw-dropping panorama unfolds. Hundreds of emerald islands scattered across a sapphire reservoir. It's one of the most iconic views in South America, and it's worth every breathless step. Stroll through the town's vibrant streets, where every building boasts zócalos, artistic panels that tell stories of heritage, dreams, and local life. No two are the same, turning each corner into a gallery of Colombian folklore. Guatapé was once a quiet village, but its burst of color and the surreal beauty of the reservoir transformed it into a haven for artists and wanderers. Boat rides, jet skis, and lakeside cafes offer slow, picturesque days. Fun fact: the giant rock was once considered sacred by the indigenous Tahami people, long before it became a selfie hotspot. Imagine a city sculpted from white volcanic stone, set against a backdrop of towering Andean peaks and one very dramatic volcano. Arequipa, Peru's White City, is a place where history, cuisine, and natural splendor collide under eternally blue skies. Less chaotic than Lima, and more refined than Cusco, Arequipa is where the soul of southern Peru sings. Step inside and you enter a secret city within the city. A maze of colorful cloisters, flower-filled courtyards, and monastic silence. Santa Catalina is a marvel of colonial architecture, blending tranquility with rich textures and colors. A walk here is like time travel, vivid and serene. Arequipa's main square is one of South America's most elegant, surrounded by arcades and watched over by the Grand White Cathedral. With El Misti volcano looming in the background, it's a scene worthy of a painting, especially at sunset, when the sky turns to fire and the city glows. But Arequipa is more than beauty. It's also brains and spice. It's the birthplace of Nobel Prize winner Mario Vargas Llosa and home to Peru's most refined cuisine. Try rocoto relleno, stuffed spicy pepper, or chupe de camarones, shrimp chowder, and you'll see why foodies flock here. Arequipa whispers, it doesn't shout, and those who listen fall in love. What if you could walk through a city where sand-colored forts rise from the desert like mirages, and the scent of frankincense leads you into another era? Nizwa, Oman, is a living relic of Arabian history, tucked into the Al-Hajar Mountains of the Arabian Peninsula. Once the capital of the country, this city breathes centuries of wisdom through its architecture, souks, and silence. With a blend of arid landscapes and lush oases, Nizwa is both stark and stunning. The city's crown jewel is Nizwa Fort, a 17th-century masterpiece built by Imam Sultan bin Saif al-Ya'rubi. With its colossal circular tower, hidden trapdoors, and panoramic desert views, the fort was designed not just as a royal seat, but as a military stronghold. Walking its ramparts, you feel time slow down, every stone echoing tales of sieges and strategy. Nearby, the Nizwa Souk is a kaleidoscope of color and tradition. One of the oldest markets in Oman, it's where you'll find hand-forged khanjars, silver jewelry, and fresh dates stacked like treasure. The famed Friday Goat Market is an experience in itself, chaotic, loud, and thrilling, offering a raw glimpse into Bedouin barter culture. Nizwa is also a gateway to Oman's Grand Canyons and date plantations, including the spectacular Jebel Akhdar. It's a place where desert meets green, and heritage thrives in every alley. Few cities on Earth feel this timeless, untouched, yet welcoming. Think of a city where palaces glow pink in the desert sun. Does it sound real? Jaipur, India. Known as the Pink City, this gem of Rajasthan sparkles with royal legacy and architectural brilliance. Located in the arid northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent, Jaipur is bordered by desert dunes and ancient forts that seem carved into the hills. The city's signature site is the Hawa Mahal, or Palace of Winds, an ornate 5-story facade with 953 windows designed for royal women to watch the street without being seen. The Amber Fort, perched on a hilltop with mirrored halls and elephant rides, tells tales of empires and intrigue. Meanwhile, the city palace fuses Mughal and Rajput styles into a museum of luxury. Jaipur was India's first planned city, built in 1727, and its terracotta hue was chosen to welcome a British royal visit in the 19th century, now immortalized in pink. The bustling bazaars brim with handmade jewelry, embroidered saris, and spice blends that sting the air with saffron and cardamom. And then there's Jantar Mantar, a vast astronomical observatory from the 1700s, with instruments so precise they still stun scientists today. Jaipur is where history, myth, and color blur into an unforgettable human tapestry. Is it a lake or a mirror to the gods? And what if I told you people still live on floating islands there? Lake Titicaca, perched high in the Andes between Peru and Bolivia, is the highest navigable lake on Earth, shimmering at 3,112 meters above sea level. It's not just a body of water, it's a cradle of Incan mythology and living culture. Its most captivating feature? The Uros Floating Islands, hand-woven from totora reeds by indigenous communities who've lived on them for generations. Boats, homes, and even schools here rise and fall with the lake's breath. On the Bolivian side, Isla del Sol is believed to be the birthplace of the sun god in Incan legend. Trails crisscross ancient ruins and terraced hillsides with views that feel carved from myth. Quechua and Aymara traditions remain strong, from woven textiles to mystical ceremonies. At dawn, when the lake turns glassy gold, it's easy to believe the gods still walk these shores. Think paradise is unreachable? Then you haven't seen Guna Yala. This autonomous archipelago off Panama's Caribbean coast, also known as the San Blas Islands, is a scatter of over 300 palm-fringed islets, only 49 of which are inhabited. Here, turquoise water laps against white sand, and the sky seems to touch the sea. Geographically isolated yet rich in culture, Guna Yala is governed by the indigenous Guna people, who have fiercely preserved their language, customs, and identity. Traditional dress, vibrant molas, handmade textiles, and communal leadership define daily life. There are no luxury resorts, just eco-cabanas, hammocks, and the gentle rhythm of waves. Travelers can island hop by wooden canoe, snorkel coral reefs, or learn about Guna myths passed down through generations. Far from the modern world, Guna Yala is a testament to cultural resilience and the enduring allure of simplicity. It's not just a destination, it's a gentle rebellion against time. How would it feel to stand with one foot in today and the other in tomorrow, surrounded by rainforests, waterfalls, and coral reefs? Taveuni, Fiji is often called the Garden Island, and for good reason. Located in the South Pacific Ocean, this tropical jewel is the third largest island in Fiji and straddles the international date line, allowing visitors to symbolically cross between days in a single step. The island is a paradise of lush rainforest, rare orchids, and thundering waterfalls hidden deep within Buma National Heritage Park. Tavoro Falls, a trio of cascades, are especially beloved by nature lovers. Offshore, the Rainbow Reef offers world-class diving with soft corals in a kaleidoscope of colors. Taveuni's remote character has preserved its authenticity. Here, locals still perform traditional Meki dances and drink kava during evening gatherings. Fun fact, it's one of the few places in the world where the international time zone literally splits the land. A quirk that adds magic to an already enchanted setting. Can a city be broken, divided, and still emerge as the heartbeat of modern Europe? Berlin, Germany, is a phoenix of a metropolis. A place where layers of history coexist with cutting-edge creativity. It's a city that remembers without apology and reinvents without fear. The Berlin Wall's remnants now burst with street art, and the East Side Gallery tells stories of resistance and unity. Brandenburg Gate stands as a solemn witness to both tyranny and triumph, while the Holocaust Memorial humbles with its silent power. But Berlin doesn't dwell, it dances. From the electrifying clubs of Kreuzberg to avant-garde galleries in Mitte, it pulses with innovation. Once a symbol of division, Berlin is now one of Europe's most inclusive, artistic, and experimental capitals. The air carries techno beats, protest chants, and deep conversations all at once. This isn't just a city you visit. It's a city that challenges, provokes, and never stops evolving. What if colonial charm met Mayan roots under a canopy of flaming bougainvillea? Mérida, the capital of Yucatan, blends Spanish elegance with ancient heritage. Located in southeastern Mexico, it stands on limestone plains near cenotes and pyramids. Pastel mansions line its streets, while traditional music floats from shaded plazas. It's slow, vibrant, and alive with memory. Paseo de Montejo is Mérida's Grand Boulevard, a legacy of 19th-century wealth and French influence. Flanked by palaces and museums, it's perfect for strolling under palm-lined skies. Each mansion tells a story of Henequen fortunes and elegant ambition. This striking museum dives deep into Mayan civilization. Its ultra-modern design contrasts the ancient artifacts inside: stele, carvings, textiles. It's not just history, it's an immersion into one of the world's most complex, enduring cultures. What if the secrets of ancient Christianity were hidden not in Rome or Jerusalem, but in a sleepy town cradled by misty Georgian mountains? Mesquite, Georgia, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, is the country's spiritual heart. Just 20 kilometers from Tbilisi, where the Aragvi and Mtkvari rivers merge, this city exudes timelessness. Cobbled streets, sacred chants, and golden light flickering from centuries-old icons. The centerpiece is Svetitsko-Veli Cathedral, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Built in the 11th century, it's believed to house Christ's mantle. The cathedral's massive stone structure, adorned with faded frescoes and medieval carvings, dominates the skyline. Pilgrims and tourists alike stand awestruck beneath its dome, where history breathes from every corner. Overlooking the city from a hilltop is Jivari Monastery, another UNESCO gem. Dating back to the 6th century, its cruciform design inspired churches throughout the Caucasus. From here, the view of Mesquite, framed by two rivers, is not just breathtaking, it's spiritual, as if earth and heaven shake hands. Mesquite isn't about grand city vibes, it's about presence. Every stone path, every church bell seems to whisper, "Remember." This ancient town embodies the soul of Georgia. Faith, resilience, and quiet beauty. It's not just a destination, it's a pilgrimage. Can a place be both haunting and magical, wild yet strangely intimate? The Isle of Skye says yes. The Isle of Skye, off Scotland's west coast, feels like a landscape born from myth. Its jagged peaks, moody lochs, and mossy cliffs create a dreamscape that changes with every cloud and gust of wind. This is nature untamed, where stories live in the mist. The Quiraing and Old Man of Storr are surreal rock formations shaped by ancient landslides. Fairy pools sparkle with icy blue waters beneath the Cuillin Mountains. While Dunvegan Castle stands as a sentinel of Highland heritage, each bend in the road reveals a new secret: a ruined chapel, a hidden beach, a glimpse of a red deer. Skye is steeped in Gaelic culture and folklore. locals speak of selkies and sky dancers, and you'll hear traditional fiddles drifting from village pubs. Its beauty isn't flashy. It whispers, waits, and rewards the patient traveler with wonder. Despite their isolation, the Faroes pulse with culture. Locals speak Faroese, a language echoing Old Norse, and preserve traditions like chain dancing and artisan wool weaving. In Tórshavn, among the world's tiniest capitals, bright wooden houses cluster by the sea, blending modern Nordic minimalism with Viking roots. Off the tourist trail, wonders await. Jogv, hidden in a gorge, offers cliffside hikes and sea spray vistas. Mykines, wild and puffin-filled, enchants bird lovers. Then there's the weather. 4 seasons in a day. Mist rolls over peaks, sunlight breaks through clouds, and sometimes the northern lights flicker across the sky. A dream for explorers craving the unknown. Tucked into a lush valley where the Andes meet the Amazon, Baños de Agua Santa is Ecuador's adventure capital. A wild mix of waterfalls, thermal baths, and jungle energy. Its name, meaning Baths of Holy Water, reflects its volcanic hot springs, fueled by the nearby Tungurahua volcano. The Pylon del Diablo, Devil's Cauldron. Waterfall thunders through a narrow gorge, offering visitors thrilling hanging bridges and slippery stone stairways that feel carved by nature itself. No trip to Baños is complete without a photo on the famous swing at Casa del Arbol, a seat suspended on a cliff edge, offering panoramic views of the volcano and valley below. It's equal parts exhilarating and meditative, with zip-lining, canyoning, and bike routes dubbed the Route of the Waterfalls. Baños is where adrenaline meets serenity. And after all the excitement, you can soak your tired muscles in steamy hot springs under a star-filled sky. Can you imagine sailing through a maze of emerald waters, dotted with thousands of limestone pillars, rising like ancient sentinels from the sea? Ha Long Bay, Vietnam, is that breathtaking spectacle, where nature sculpts a dreamlike world of misty islands and hidden caves. Located in northeastern Vietnam along the Gulf of Tonkin, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is home to over 1,600 limestone islets, many topped with lush vegetation. The bay's surreal beauty is best explored by traditional wooden junks, which glide past floating fishing villages, grottos like Tien Cung, Heavenly Palace, and islets shaped like dragons, turtles, and even kissing rocks. Deeply entwined with Vietnamese legend, Ha Long means descending dragon, referring to mythic creatures said to have created the islands. Beyond its cinematic scenery, the bay holds prehistoric cave paintings and evidence of ancient human habitation. Here's a secret. Ha Long Bay's twin, Bai Tu Long Bay, lies just northeast, quieter but equally magical. What if your feet sank into spices instead of sand? Zanzibar isn't just an island, it's a fragrance. Zanzibar, Tanzania, floats like a jewel off the coast of East Africa in the Indian Ocean. Known as the Spice Island, it offers turquoise waters, powdery beaches, and a heady blend of cultures woven into every market and alleyway of Stone Town. Stone Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site where Arab, Persian, Indian, and European influences converge in a maze of carved doors, coral stone houses, and haunting melodies of the call to prayer. Beyond the city, white sand beaches stretch endlessly, from Nungwi's sunset shores to Paje's kite-filled skies. Zanzibar's spice farms are a living museum of cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon, remnants of the island's role in ancient trade routes. And did you know Freddie Mercury was born here? Zanzibar is where history, taste, sound, and sea meet in perfect harmony, a place that lingers long after you've left. Ever dreamed of walking through a city where the buildings feel alive? Barcelona, Spain, is that dream made real? Hugging the Mediterranean Sea, this Catalonian capital is an intoxicating blend of Gothic grandeur, golden beaches, and surrealist creativity, anchored by the genius of Antoni Gaudí. The Sagrada Familia, still under construction after more than a century, rises like a living cathedral of stone lace. Park Güell offers candy-colored mosaics and serpentine benches, while Casa Batlló and Casa Milà look more like coral reefs than buildings. In the Gothic Quarter, medieval alleys open onto sunlit plazas where guitars echo. Barcelona pulses with artistry, from flamenco performances to cutting-edge galleries. Catalan culture runs deep, fiercely proud and vibrantly expressive in its food, language, and traditions. This isn't just a city break. It's a feast for the senses, where imagination meets history on every corner. Can a place be so pristine it feels painted? Lake Louise is a jewel hidden in the Canadian Rockies, where turquoise waters reflect untouched alpine glory. Lake Louise, Canada, is located in Banff National Park, Alberta, nestled high in the Rockies. Fed by glacial melt from Victoria Glacier, its surreal blue-green color changes subtly with the seasons and sun. The lake is overlooked by the iconic Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise and framed by peaks like Mount Victoria. Popular activities include canoeing across its shimmering surface in summer or ice skating on its frozen mirror in winter. Trails like the Lake Agnes Tea House hike offer panoramic views of surrounding ridgelines. Historically, Lake Louise is sacred to the Stoney Nakoda people and was named after Princess Louise, daughter of Queen Victoria. It became a key stop on the Canadian Pacific Railway and a symbol of wilderness luxury. Interesting fact, the lake maintains its radiant turquoise color thanks to rock flour. Finely ground particles from glacier erosion suspended in the water, scattering sunlight like millions of tiny prisms. No cars, no rush, just whispering canals, quaint thatched roofs, and boats gliding like gondolas in a dream. Giethoorn, located in the Dutch province of Overijssel, is often called the Venice of the North. But unlike Venice, it offers pure peace. Here, waterways replace roads, and the main mode of transport is whisper boats that float silently past flower-laced cottages. The village is laced with over 170 wooden bridges arching above gentle canals. Rent a boat or bike along the water's edge, and you'll feel like time has paused. The charm is organic. No tourist traps, just nature and nostalgia. Originally settled by peat harvesters, Giethoorn grew around its canals, and its thatched roof homes have remained largely unchanged for centuries. Fun fact, there's a local rule. If you can't garden, don't move in. In Giethoorn, every window box is art, and every curve in the canal reveals a new postcard moment. Can you imagine waking up in a bungalow that floats on crystal clear water, with coral reefs beneath and endless blue around you? That dream is the Maldives. The Maldives, an archipelago of 1,190 coral islands in the Indian Ocean, lies southwest of Sri Lanka and India. It's the lowest country on Earth in terms of elevation, barely rising above sea level. Yet it stands tall as a global symbol of paradise. Known for its overwater villas, white sand beaches, and vibrant marine biodiversity, the Maldives offers world-class snorkeling and diving experiences in reefs teeming with manta rays, whale sharks, and technicolor fish. Atolls like Ba and Ari are among the most pristine on the planet. While the Maldives has Islamic roots and a rich history of trade, its modern identity is a blend of tropical luxury and environmental vulnerability, a front line for climate change. Unique fact: bioluminescent plankton occasionally light up the beaches at night, making the shores appear like glowing galaxies under your feet. A real-life fairy tale in motion. What if you could stroll through a fairy tale town where medieval towers rise above cobbled lanes, yet free Wi-Fi flows through every square? Tallinn, Estonia is that rare blend of old-world charm and futuristic edge. Perched on the Baltic coast, Tallinn's Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of Europe's best-preserved medieval quarters. Gothic spires pierce the skyline, and stone walls enclose a network of narrow alleys, hidden courtyards, and centuries-old guild halls. Climb Tumpi Hill for a sweeping view of red-tiled rooftops and the shimmering Baltic Sea. But Tallinn is more than just a historical gem. It's a digital powerhouse, home to world-changing startups like Skype and famed for its e-governance innovations. Cafes in medieval buildings double as co-working hubs. And the locals? Proudly rooted in their folklore, yet fluent in global culture. Here, medieval meets modern in a seamless, exhilarating way. Have you ever dreamed of a place where wild tulips bloom across endless alpine meadows and snow leopards silently roam the ridges? Aksu-Jabagli Nature Reserve, Kazakhstan, offers exactly that. Nestled in the western Tian Shan Mountains of Central Asia, this protected area is the oldest nature reserve in Kazakhstan and a true sanctuary for biodiversity. Towering peaks, clear rivers, and ancient glaciers form its raw, untouched beauty. Aksu Canyon, the reserve's dramatic centerpiece, plunges more than 300 meters deep, creating a surreal contrast of lush vegetation and rugged rock faces. It's a paradise for hikers and bird watchers, with golden eagles circling above and Marco Polo sheep scaling the cliffs. This land holds secrets dating back to prehistoric times. Petroglyphs and burial mounds are scattered throughout, whispering of civilizations long gone. Locals say spring here doesn't arrive, it explodes, with thousands of wildflowers igniting the slopes in every color imaginable. What if every stone could speak, and each corner echoed with millennia of human faith and conflict? Jerusalem, Israel is not just a city. It's a crossroads of civilizations, sacred to billions across the globe. Located on a plateau in the Judean mountains, between the Mediterranean and the Dead Sea, it stands as one of the world's most revered spiritual centers. Walk through the old city's ancient gates and feel time shift. Visit the Western Wall, the holiest site in Judaism, or climb to the Dome of the Rock, a masterpiece of Islamic art. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre marks the site of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection. Layers of history unfold with every step. Founded more than 3,000 years ago, Jerusalem has been conquered, rebuilt, and sanctified by empires. Its religious, political, and cultural tapestry is as complex as it is beautiful. Even the air feels heavier here, filled with incense, prayers, and the weight of belief. Jerusalem isn't just seen, it's felt in the soul. Have you ever walked into a city and felt like you stepped inside a Renaissance painting? That's Florence, where every stone breathes art. Florence, Italy, is the capital of Tuscany and sits gracefully on the banks of the Arno River. Surrounded by vineyard-covered hills, this jewel of central Italy is considered the birthplace of the Renaissance. The city is a masterpiece in itself. The Florence Cathedral, Duomo, with its towering dome by Brunelleschi, the Uffizi Gallery housing Botticelli's The Birth of Venus, and Michelangelo's David in the Accademia Gallery. The Ponte Vecchio Bridge offers a unique blend of architecture and goldsmithing heritage. Culturally, Florence shaped Western art, philosophy, and politics. The Medici family transformed it into a cradle of innovation, attracting Leonardo da Vinci, Galileo, and Machiavelli. Curious detail, locals still drink from medieval public fountains, and you can attend centuries-old artisan workshops, where leather, paper, and perfumes are still made by hand, just as they were 500 years ago. What if your safari had no crowds? Just you, the grass, and the wind. Kidipo Valley in Uganda is one of Africa's last truly wild frontiers. Tucked in the country's remote northeast near South Sudan, this park is often called the Lost Eden of Africa. Its golden plains framed by rugged mountains. The Narus Valley is where most wildlife congregates. Herds of buffalo roam here in staggering numbers, sometimes in the thousands, while lions lounge on rock outcrops and giraffes drift across the savanna like living silhouettes. Dry most of the year, the Kidipo River becomes a dramatic lifeline after rains, drawing elephants and cheetahs to its banks. The surrounding dome palms and sweeping grasslands make for hauntingly beautiful sunsets. Unlike its crowded East African neighbors, Kidipo sees only a few thousand visitors a year. This means uninterrupted connection with nature, and with the nearby Karamojong people, whose warrior traditions and nomadic culture add depth to the wilderness. It's a place where the world still feels untouched. Imagine a city where churches sparkle with golden domes, where volcanic peaks loom in the background, and where every building looks like a hand-painted tile. Puebla, Mexico, lies southeast of Mexico City, nestled between the Popocatépetl and Iztaccíhuatl volcanoes. Its blend of Baroque architecture, vibrant colors, and rich culinary heritage make it a cultural treasure. The Zócalo, Puebla's main square, pulses with life. Surrounded by colonial arcades, sidewalk cafes, and the imposing Puebla Cathedral, one of the tallest in Latin America. At night, the square lights up with music, fountains, and the hum of conversation. Don't miss the Capilla del Rosario inside the Church of Santo Domingo, often called the eighth wonder of the world for its overwhelming interior of gold leaf, intricate stucco, and celestial frescoes. Puebla is also the birthplace of mole poblano, Mexico's iconic chocolate chili sauce. Its Talavera pottery, street murals, and annual Cinco de Mayo reenactments only deepen its local pride and timeless charm. You've seen it in movies. You've dreamed of Martian landscapes. But did you know such a place exists right here on Earth? Welcome to Wadi Rum, Jordan. Wadi Rum, Jordan is a vast desert valley in the south of the country, part of the Arabian Desert, known for its surreal red sands and colossal sandstone formations. Often called the Valley of the Moon, This UNESCO World Heritage Site stretches beneath cloudless skies, where silence reigns and the horizon seems endless. Towering cliffs, ancient rock bridges, and narrow canyons define the terrain. Here you'll find petroglyphs left by Nabatean traders and rust-red dunes that have doubled for Mars in films like The Martian and Dune. Guided jeep tours and camel treks offer access to the most spectacular rock outcrops, while Bedouin camps provide starlit nights, traditional meals, and tales passed down for generations. This desert has been home to nomadic tribes for millennia, and it was once a base for Lawrence of Arabia. Today, it's a destination for adventurers, romantics, and anyone seeking nature's silence painted in crimson and gold. You've seen floating markets, but have you ever seen entire floating gardens? Lake Inle, Myanmar, is a dreamlike expanse nestled among the Shan Hills in Southeast Asia. Framed by misty mountains and dotted with stilted wooden villages, this freshwater lake feels frozen in time. Traditional wooden boats drift silently past water hyacinths as the Intha people maintain a life of balance between land and water. The lake's most fascinating feature is its floating gardens, carefully constructed patches of vegetation anchored with bamboo poles. Locals grow tomatoes, squash, and flowers directly on the water, cultivating entire harvests on these surreal green islands. Nga Phay Chong Monastery, resting above the lake's surface, is a teakwood marvel that's over a century old. Its silent halls once echoed with the footsteps of monks and the legendary jumping cats trained by them. Inle is also known for its unique leg-rowing fishermen. Balancing at the stern of their boats, they wrap one leg around an oar, a mesmerizing sight seen nowhere else on Earth. Can a river be so clear and green that it looks like liquid jade? Vale Verzasca doesn't just ask the question, it answers it with breathtaking beauty. Vale Verzasca, Switzerland. Tucked away in the southern canton of Ticino, this alpine valley is a Swiss-Italian masterpiece, where rugged granite cliffs frame a jade-colored river that runs impossibly clear through forested ravines and sleepy stone villages. The star of the valley is the Verzasca River, famous for the double-arched Ponte dei Salti bridge in the medieval village of Lavertezzo. Its emerald pools are so transparent you can see every pebble, tempting travelers into refreshing swims, daredevil cliff jumps, and underwater photography. With roots tracing back to Roman times, the valley is rich in cultural heritage. Locals still speak Italian, and ancient churches, vineyards, and rustic grotti, stone taverns, preserve the region's deep traditions. It's a land of quiet contrasts, wild yet peaceful, simple yet cinematic. A place where nature whispers and stone paths lead you into a timeless alpine dream. What if you stood on the edge of the world and the wind sang stories older than memory? That's the Cliffs of Moher. The Cliffs of Moher. Ireland rise like a stone curtain from the Atlantic Ocean on the western edge of County Clare. These towering formations, reaching 214 meters high, stretch for 14 kilometers along one of Europe's most dramatic coastlines. Geologically carved over 300 million years ago, the cliffs offer stunning vistas from the Aran Islands to the 12 Bends in Connemara on a clear day. O'Brien's Tower, perched at the highest point, was built in the 1800s as an observation point and remains a popular lookout today. Rooted in Irish mythology, the cliffs are said to hide ancient sea monsters and enchanted maidens. They've appeared in films like Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince and the Princess Bride. Whether cloaked in mist or glowing under the sun, the cliffs of Moher are more than a view. They're a portal into Ireland's wild soul. What if Europe was hiding in North America, wrapped in snow and stories? Quebec City is a fairy tale in French. Quebec City, Canada, perches on the cliffs above the mighty St. Lawrence River, its stone ramparts and copper roofs glinting like a page from an old-world chronicle. As North America's only fortified city north of Mexico, it combines French charm with Canadian resilience. The cobbled streets of Old Quebec lead past the majestic Chateau Frontenac, a hotel that looks like a castle in the clouds. Stroll through Petit Champlain, North America's oldest shopping district, and find artisanal shops, cafes, and winter magic in every snowflake. Founded in 1608, Quebec City is the cradle of French civilization in North America. Festivals like Winter Carnival and Saint Jean-Baptiste Day show how proudly the city celebrates its heritage. And in the glow of gas lanterns and drifting snow, it feels like time slows down. Quebec City isn't just a destination, it's a portal to another era. How would it feel to walk through a forest where trees grow upside down and animals exist nowhere else on Earth? Madagascar, the world's fourth largest island, lies off Africa's southeastern coast, a lost continent in miniature. Isolated for millions of years, it hosts a surreal ecosystem where 90% of wildlife is found nowhere else. Think lemurs leaping between baobab trees, chameleons changing colors mid-step, and forests that seem drawn from myth. The Avenue of the Baobabs is its most iconic sight, a dusty road lined with towering, bottle-shaped trees that glow golden at sunset. Inland, rainforests like Andasibe teem with nocturnal calls and rare orchids. The beaches? Untouched perfection on the shores of Nosy Bay and Ile Sainte-Marie. Madagascar's culture is equally diverse, shaped by African, Asian, and Polynesian roots. It's a place of ancestral reverence, music driven by handmade instruments, and a rhythm of life that feels timeless. Few places combine biodiversity, strangeness, and beauty quite like this island does. What happens when a city decides to reinvent itself and goes all in with neoclassical statues, faux Baroque facades, and a massive Arc de Triomphe? Skopje, North Macedonia's quirky capital, offers one of the most visually bewildering urban landscapes in Europe. Located in the heart of the Balkans, it straddles centuries of history, from Roman ruins to Ottoman bazaars, wrapped in a strange but fascinating modern makeover. The Old Bazaar is a labyrinth of stone alleys echoing with the scent of grilled meats and the sound of copper being hammered into shape. This centuries-old market, second only to Istanbul's Grand Bazaar, is home to mosques, hammams, tea houses, and artisan workshops, preserving the city's Ottoman soul. Perched on a hill above the Vardar River, the Skopje Fortress, Kale, offers panoramic views of the city's eclectic skyline. From medieval walls, you can spot futuristic bridges, towering monuments, and replicas of ancient wonders. All part of Skopje's unique identity crisis turned tourist magnet. Fun fact: after a devastating earthquake in 1963, much of Skopje was rebuilt with the help of international architects, including Japan's Kenzo Tanga. The city became a living collage, part socialist realism, part Las Vegas-style fantasy. And oddly enough, it works. Imagine a landscape where ancient ruins stretch across boulder-strewn hills, like forgotten remnants of a divine empire. Hampi, India, is located in Karnataka, South Asia, along the banks of the Tungabhadra River. It was once the capital of the Vijayanagara Empire, one of the richest and most powerful kingdoms in Indian history. Today, it's an archaeological wonderland, designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The heart of Hampi is its surreal terrain. Giant granite boulders balancing precariously over green banana plantations and rice paddies. Within this natural maze lie remnants of temples, palaces, and marketplaces, each echoing stories from a bygone golden age. The Virupaksha Temple, still active today, towers above the ancient bazaar street and draws pilgrims and travelers alike. Culturally, Hampi pulses with myths and legends from the Hindu epics. Locals believe the area is linked to the Ramayana, giving it both spiritual and historical gravitas. Unique fact: at sunset, the boulders turn orange gold, and the view from Matanga Hill feels like looking into another world. Hampi isn't just a destination, it's a journey through time carved into stone. You think Central Asia is all desert and steppe? Think again. Almaty is a city wrapped in mountains, bursting with European charm. Almaty, Kazakhstan, sits in the foothills of the Trans-Ili Alatau Mountains in southeastern Central Asia. It's a rare fusion of urban elegance and alpine wilderness, once the capital of Kazakhstan, and still its cultural and financial heart. The city is flanked by towering peaks, and a 30-minute drive takes you to Big Almaty Lake, an ethereal turquoise reservoir surrounded by pine forests and snow-capped cliffs. In winter, head to Shimbulak, one of Central Asia's best ski resorts. Within the city, Panfilov Park and the colorful Zenkov Cathedral capture the essence of Russian Orthodox architecture. Historically, Almaty was a stop along the ancient Silk Road, and that cosmopolitan energy still lingers in its European-style cafes, theaters, and bustling bazaars. Interesting detail: Almaty translates to City of Apples, and the region is believed to be the original home of the domestic apple. A modern skyline, Soviet relics, and mountain views, Almaty is where tradition meets adventure in a way you never expect. What if the Earth could bend like waves on water? The Wave, Arizona, USA, is one of the most surreal landscapes on the planet. A sculpted masterpiece of Navajo sandstone, hidden deep in the desert near the Utah border. Its swirling lines, layered in fiery reds and sunburnt golds, seem more like brush strokes than geology. Accessible only via a highly restricted permit system, the Wave is sacred and exclusive. Just 64 people per day are allowed to enter. This preserves its delicate formations and heightens the sense of pilgrimage. The 6-mile hike through the Paria Canyon Vermilion Cliffs wilderness is challenging, but stepping into the Wave is like walking inside a painting. Formed over 190 million years ago, the site was once sand dunes slowly compressed into stone. Native American tribes consider the area sacred, filled with spirit and silence. Cameras struggle to capture it. The reality is far more powerful. The Wave is a visual hallucination made real, sculpted by time, guarded by nature. Imagine a lake so calm, its surface mirrors the sky, and in the middle, a tiny island crowned with a fairy tale church. Where is this dreamscape? It's Lake Bled, Slovenia, a gem hidden in the Julian Alps of Central Europe, surrounded by forested hills and overlooked by a medieval cliffside castle. Bled is like a page from an old storybook. The lake's main attraction is Bled Island, accessible only by traditional wooden pletna boats. Here, visitors ring the church bell and make a wish, a centuries-old custom tied to love and fortune. Towering above the lake is Bled Castle, offering breathtaking views and a glimpse into Slovenian history dating back to 1004. Lake Bled isn't just a postcard, it's a living tradition. Slovenians flock here year-round, from summer swims to winter skating on the frozen lake. And don't leave without trying the legendary Bled cream cake, a local dessert that's almost as iconic as the island itself.